Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Transformation Talk Radio, transformationradio.fm. Benny, I got a little New York accent there. Did you hear that?
It was just a little bit. It's no big deal.
That?
Yeah, it's just the way it happens.
I've been talking to my East Coast friends.
There you go. It pops right in there.
Doing a little telephone hotline service for people. It doesn't take much for me to pick that back up again, you know. And there it is. Brother. Wow. How's Mr. Benny today?
Benny be good.
I like that. Benny be good. You know what? We got a great show lining up right here. It's a juicy. Being a soul purpose advocate with everyday spirituality, my co-host, Nancy Munson. I love this. And the reason I do is for a large part of my life, and I'm just going to say this, and then she's going to talk about the whole thing. For a large part of my life, many people thought, Pat, you're on another planet. Pat, you should really get a real job. Pat, we don't understand why you went to school for all those years just so you could pay for airtime so that you can name a show to Dr. Pat Show, which I actually didn't do. The listeners and Benny did that. You know, Pat, do this, Pat, do that. And I never really understood it. And then one day, Nancy Munson said, no, that's not yours to do. Well, get ready for today. What is a soul purpose advocate? You know, the path to living your soul's purpose and potential, are you ready, is fraught with diversions and blocks. Now, Nancy is a regular on the show. She's got a great workshop we're going to tell you about, how you can find out more. We're also going to let you know about what she does, some of the giveaways we have on the show. We also want to give you an update on this incredible contest she did. But today it's all about understanding why it is that many of us cannot necessarily be our best if we try to do things alone. That's why Nancy Munson, as a soul purpose advocate, somebody that works with other people, can help us get to what we need to be getting to do in this lifetime. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pat. That's great.
Well, this is really the deal for me. You know, I bumped around. You know, what do they say? You know, bumped around in the dark, you know, like you wake up in the middle of the night, there's no lights on, and you get up, and even though you're living in your home, you get up and you walk out and you're bumping into a wall and you're bumping into that, you're bumping into this, and then your toe is stubbed and this, that. That's what I've done in my life.
Yeah, I think most people do a lot of bumping around. I know I did for a long time.
Well, I want to ask you about this because I don't want to be bumping. I'm on a mission. And all of us here on the team, we're on a mission. And, you know, part of the mission we're on, we can't even articulate. But you're a soul purpose advocate. What is a soul purpose advocate? And how does it help people like me and others make sense out of this world that we're living in?
Well, thanks, Pat. Yeah, and it can be pretty confusing at times. And it's mainly because we don't have a lot. And, you know, we've been talking about this on our shows for quite a few months now. Yeah. There's not a lot in our culture that helps us to understand the deeper alchemical process that our soul is asking us to go through to individuate. You know, it's back to Carl Jung's model about the soul's journey of individuation. We're born, the soul is born, it incarnates into a human body, and it has a blueprint, which we've talked about. And its journey is to go through that process of, being born as the divine child, being wounded, going underground, then coming back out as it gets healed to individuate, to then be the full expression of the uniqueness of that soul's potential. And as a soul purpose advocate, that's what I do. I help bring that awareness to to my clients so that they can really bring out their soul's potential, really live that blueprint that the soul came incarnated to really express.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about this from a couple of different ways, because I'm not sure what your experience is, but I hope you share it. We hear more often than not of how painful it is when we tried to convince the soul to do something else. Now, I don't even know how that looks, but I know I've done it. I know that I didn't say, oh, soul, let me take you in this direction, but my acts and my behavior have been of that.
Yeah.
And so how do we get support, since this is really an inside job here?
It is. Yeah, it is an inside job. I always say change is an inside job. And it's so what the ego, goes through life and develops an attachment to a role or to experiences. And that wounding happens when we're small, and we lose the connection with our inner guidance, and we look outwardly. We look out to our caregivers, to our authorities, to whoever's going to keep us safe, whoever's going to give us love, all the things that we want to enjoy our life, to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel appreciated. And what happens is there's a split. When we put some parts of ourselves forward, they don't get received well. They're chastised or punished or embarrassed or shamed. And so that part we say, oh my goodness, I'm never, ever, ever going to express that again. And we put it in the shadow, and it creates a split. The persona comes forward, it gets developed through those early years. And then the rest of our being, the rest of our potential in its latent form gets shoved into the shadow. And so we develop that. That's how the ego gets developed. But it's not the wholeness. It's not the wholeness of the full expression, because we've had to make that split. So part of that journey in life is to help us reconnect with those parts of us that we've cut off. And that's usually what happens somewhere around the midlife passage. And that can be as early as mid-30s to as late as 60s, when our soul realizes the ego's developed enough to be able to go through that deconstruction, letting go of that persona and recreating a more golden, more full, more individualized expression of the soul's potential. And so that's, kind of how the whole thing happens, is because we're always, as a child, looking outwardly to get that security, to get that validation. And when we don't get that, that's when we have the split.
We know when we're having a split. I mean, we really know when we're being torn, right? Yet at the same time, this whole idea of soul purpose and soul purpose advocate is really the process that you've talked about before for a soul to fully express. But part of this, and I know we're going to talk about this more, is also to understand, spiritual unfoldment and what that means. Often we confuse that with a whole bunch of other things. We confuse it with religion. We confuse it, right? But there's this idea of spiritual unfoldment that you've also expressed yourself. I've expressed, whether I wanted to or not. Can you talk about what that means and what it means to walk the path?
Oh, wow. Yes, I'll do my best. It's a big topic.
Yeah, it is.
And I've read for years and years and years and years. I've read different philosophies and mindsets, orientations, frameworks around the soul's unfoldment. And that's why I use the alchemical framework, because the soul is really a mystery. It's connected with the great mystery, right? It's a spark of the full, creative force, creative intelligence of the universe that created all of what we experience. And so it's really it's a mystery. It doesn't operate in our cognitive mental framework. So trying to nail it down as the unfoldment sometimes can be quite challenging because it truly is a mystery. It truly is an alchemical journey of transformation as we go through becoming more and more a greater expression of the soul. So I believe that every soul has a unique path. And so walking that path means mostly just tuning in to listening to the soul's true voice. And we have a saying in my spiritual guidance community that the ego loves to dress up in the soul's clothing. And that's the challenge, is getting the discernment. And that's a big part of my job as a soul purpose advocate, is helping a person tune into their authentic soul's voice. And everyone's going to have their own unique way of doing that. And that's the challenge, is how to help, how a person can learn what their unique soul's voice is. And in some cases, I believe, because it is a mysterious process, it's a trial and error. There are lots of different practices that you can take on to start to cultivate that relationship with your soul. But at first, it means I'm going to commit myself to hearing my soul's voice and, as best as I can, following my soul's guidance. And that in itself is a journey.
One of the things that we'll talk about when we come back here, Nancy, is the fact that you are someone that has taken the journey yourself. And so along the way, saying yes for your life's journey, your soul's purpose, to become a soul purpose advocate, it is something that many of us here, and as Linda would say, flounder around in parts of our lives. We don't really have to do that. I know for me, I've been very fortunate to have people in my life that could help me along the way. When we come back, we're going to talk about how you have worked with people all over the world. And, you're also working with some of the folks from the show, how you work to support the unfoldment. What are these things that does happen? How do you do it? And what can people expect? We're going to take a short break, everyone. Nancy Munson's in the house. When we come back, Nancy's also going to tell you about incredible workshop she's doing. Yeah, how to live a soul-directed life. And why this is your go-to now. Why this is your go-to. Could that possibly be the way to eliminate suffering? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Pat. The ancient Inca root vegetable maca is world-renowned for its wide array of health benefits. As a family-run company of true maca specialists, the maca team's mission is to provide you with fresh, organic, premium quality maca powders at a fair price. Amazing. All of the products are always organically grown, fair-traded, GMO-free, fresh, and potent. So don't take my word for it. Experience the life-changing benefits of maca today. Visit themacateam.com.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown? From the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul in the depths of who you are. The universe puts someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net. 1-800-323-1790.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com, and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune into Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By, and especially today with my co-host joining me here, Nancy Munson, because we're talking about being a soul purpose advocate with everyday spirituality. And I want to make sure that you all have lots of information and take a moment to do that. Nancy, before we talk about how you support the unfoldment in working with people, I would love for you again to give us an update on, the workshop you're facilitating, how people can work with you directly as well.
Sure, Pat. Yeah. Later this month on June 17th and 18th, I'm one of the facilitators at a conference for women down in Southern California in Pomona on the Cal Poly University Pomona campus. And I'll be facilitating on the 17th specifically, I'll be facilitating a workshop called How to Live a Soul-Directed Life. So living the being that you were born to be. And it's the Unlimited Woman Conference, empowering women to more in life, business, and wealth. And if anyone who's listening wants to attend, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you to find out more about the conference. And they can do that through my website, everydayspirituality.com. And there's a way to contact me by sending an email. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. So.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are kind of the same like that. When I get emails from our listeners and folks and some of the friends of our listeners, I'm right on top of it as well. So thank you for that. Sure. One of the things that I think what I was talking about before the break was this idea that I know for me, I did not do very well trying to make sense of this all alone by myself, right? In my room, right?
Yeah, right.
Making sense by myself in my room. And so there is an enormous benefit to getting some support in the unfoldment process. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about what you do in that way to support people.
Sure. So as I said, the alchemical journey to live a soul-directed life is mysterious, and there's not much. I've done literature research. I've talked to a lot of therapists, even transpersonal therapists don't necessarily have the framework that I was blessed to receive from my spiritual guidance teacher of understanding the different alchemical processes or phases that we go through when we really do allow our soul to reinvent us, to rebirth us into a greater, more golden expression of our full potential. And so my role as an advocate is to really help guide that person through those alchemical phases. And we've talked about those phases on a previous show, where the first phase, which is usually the most difficult and traumatic for people, is the dissolving phase, where your life is dissolving either by your own choice, where you decide, I'm not going to work in this job anymore. I can't tolerate this relationship anymore. Or we have a health crisis, or life gives us the opportunity to dissolve. You get laid off from a job, you get laid off from a role, or, a relation, someone leaves you in the relationship, or you have a health crisis, or some combination. And that really is the opportunity for us, but it can be very disrupting and very confusing and painful. It can create a lot of suffering because we don't understand why it's happening and what the greater process is. And so helping stabilize someone through that phase until they get to the place, what we call fire of new life, the inspiring phase, where life, all of a sudden, you start to have interest in new things, or be called to new opportunities, or old dreams that were unfulfilled from earlier part of life come back and are exciting again. But you have to let go to make room for something new. And that's a big piece that a lot of people don't understand, is that dissolving, that falling away, is an important part that gives space for something new. It's kind of like, you can't bring, some people I know say, okay, I can't bring another thing into my house until I clean out what's here. That's the same thing that kind of happens on an inner level as well. I have to make room to accommodate a greater expression of the soul. And we go through that phase to the expanding phase, where a vision comes, where we work on creating a vision for, okay, what do you want to create in your life now? And then we work on how to actually bring that into the world, manifest that. So my job as the soul purpose advocate is to be the mirror and the clarity bringer for those phases, as well as hold space and give practices and processes that help that process along, to make it more conscious and hopefully make it more smooth, and be able to really bring the full value, to not short circuit the process, to be with the process and bring, so that it can create the greatest possible new life for the person.
Yeah. And, one of the things too, Nancy, is that we really do long to have an abundant, joyful life.
Mm-hmm.
We
it's
really
our
do
birthright.
long for it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that one of the things I think we're really, really good, Nancy, at hiding that desire.
I think you're right, because it's scary to let go of familiar territory, to be willing to step out of society's expected role for you, or expected lifestyle, and live your unique lifestyle, whatever that is, your unique expression. It can be incredibly scary. And that's what keeps us from really, truly, Marianne Williamson talks about, our greatest fear is not that we're not good enough. It's that we're powerful beyond our imagination. And that does keep people locked in living smaller than their full expression.
You've walked the inner alchemical path of transformation.
Oh, yeah.
I believe I've walked it too.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are walking, and, some of us have even walked on hot coals, but yet we knew we were walking on hot coals. I don't know that I could, now looking back, I don't know that I could say, oh, yeah, that inner alchemical path of transformation. Yeah, love that thing. How about you?
Well, the hot coals, that we would call that, that's part of the calcinatio, or the fire, the inspiring phase. Sometimes you have to burn away the old life. I have a lot of the Phoenix model in my own personal journey. And that's really, crashing and burning, and then rising out of the ashes. And that's been a theme in my own journey. And it wasn't until, and, we've talked about human design on our previous shows. It wasn't until I really understood my human design that I got, oh, that's what I signed up for. Whether I want it or not, that's how I signed up to, that's how my soul signed up to grow this lifetime. But understanding that gives me at least a little more peace of mind that, oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's hard. It's not always fun. It's painful sometimes, but I recognize there's a greater purpose. There's a greater direction. There's a greater intelligence that's unfolding my life. And I've learned to trust that. And that takes time and awareness and really building that deeper relationship and trusting and watching what unfolds. And when we unfold our lives in a way that makes our lives more joyous, more exciting, more magical, that's when I know, more in flow, that's when I know that I'm following my soul.
Yeah, and there's so much for us to really talk about in looking at all of this, right? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, one of my favorite conversations to have is about archetypes, right? Mm-hmm. Archetypes. And, the reason I'm really loving to have these now is I don't know how much you follow our pop culture and what people are actually going to the movies to watch these days. But one of the things that has gotten our attention in that way are these archetypical characters. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? Well, think about it. I never thought when I was reading those comic books as a kid and drawing some of the characters in them that I would live to watch on the big screen Wonder Woman come to life, right? Yeah. I never thought that Superman and Batman would go at it. Mm-hmm. I didn't. I mean, but there was a fascination, as there always has been. Mm-hmm. These, some might say, I guess if Jung were around, if Joseph Campbell were around, if these folks were around, they'd be looking and say, hey, those are my archetypes up there. Mm-hmm. Let's take a short break. When we come back, what are some of the important qualities required of a soul purpose advocate? What do we expect Nancy Munson to do working with other people? This is really, really juicy here, everybody. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Nancy talking about qualities, but archetypes. One of my faves. If you could be a superhero, which one would you be? We'll be right back.
The Doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Do you want to achieve your goals? Do you want to strengthen relationships with others? Do you want to improve your financial status? Colette Marie Steffen is partnering with Mark Kettenbach to bring you an energetic upgrade online experience launching in April. Unfold and develop your full potential. Visit energeticupgrade.com today for more information. That's energeticupgrade.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the show. For more information about us, you can find out more about me. Go to thedrpatshow.com. You can go to transformationtalkradio.com. If you want to take a sneak peek about the new network, transformationradio.fm, you're going to start to see it change. As a matter of fact, if you look at Transformation Talk Radio, you'll see it's got a whole new look and feel, and that's going to be changing. It's wonderful to see what it takes, and it does take a village. I get to show up here pretty much every day with all of you. What you should know, though, is behind the scenes is an entire team of amazing people. Whether you're listening to a show that somebody has edited out some ding or some ping, whether that's Justin or Alex or Linda that has done the scheduling, or Jessica or Christina, it doesn't matter. Kim, these are folks that are there that are so committed to bringing a powerful, powerful message. There's a reason that we've been called the new mainstream in talk radio for almost a decade now. And I never understood what that meant. But Nancy Monson, my co-host today, talked a little bit because she looked at my human design chart. And there are a few things that she had to say about it. She and I were talking during the break about one of my favorite topics, archetypes. And as I said before, if you want to find out more about Nancy, you can go to everydayspirituality.com, and you will get a complimentary consultation from Nancy also. If you go to everydayspirituality.com, is that /apply, Nancy?
Yes.
Okay, good. And also there's a free guide, Understanding the Deeper Process and Purpose of the Midlife Passage. And I think I've been in the midlife passage like a bunch of times, several times. everydayspirituality.com/my-gift-to-you. And that's what Nancy does. As a matter of fact, Nancy also held what we like to call a little contest and has selected one of us here, one of the listeners, not me, but one of you all, and you're going to be hearing more about that as we move forward. Nancy, this is really, I love the conversation of archetypes, and I did not know until I started to do the show what that even meant, but I knew of them, and we were talking about this very interesting. So, as a soul purpose advocate, are there archetypes involved?
Yeah, absolutely. And, archetypes, I think Jung was the one who kind of formulated that. I can't be sure about that, but I know in my training, we talked about that when I was learning my soul being spiritual guidance. And archetypes are collections of qualities that show up in the collective of humanity. All cultures, all religions, all humans have archetypes, and there are some that transcend those boundaries, transcend those groupings. Carolyn Mace talks about them. She's got, archetypal cards. I mean, the whole concept of archetypes have been around for a long time. And we can even come up with our own archetypes in our life. If we were to look and see, mother is an archetype, daughter, teacher, leader, those are archetypal characteristics that make up a particular type of expression of who we are. And so in the soul purpose advocate world, to be a spiritual guide, which is basically what a soul purpose advocate does, we have 4 that are the main archetypes. There are some sub-archetypes, but the 4 that you'll find in working with a soul purpose advocate are the wise woman is the one who really has the wisdom. It's a feminine quality. Feminine wisdom has been a feminine quality. And if you look at the great traditions, wisdom tends to have a feminine characteristic. Sophia in the Jewish tradition and Christianity, Sophia, the wise woman, the one who carries deep wisdom about the soul and its journey of individuation. So it's really, she's the one, that quality is the one that really provides the knowledge and the wisdom from living her own journey. And then we have the Kuan Yin, which is another feminine quality. And that's the one who holds space for the soul to express its longing, to express its wounds. She hears the cries of the soul. If you think of the archetype or the goddess Kuan Yin, she's got that great lap that with her hands that are set in a way that welcomes those to come to her and to bear their burdens, to really share their hearts. So that's an important quality for a soul purpose advocate. And then you've got the 2 masculine qualities, the Buddha, who really cuts through to the truth and is willing to see through the delusions and the fears of the ego to speak the truth of the soul, to really cut away the fluff, cut away the confusion to get to the clarity. And then the 4th quality is the Christ quality. And that's the one who he stands for the soul. He stands beside and walks with the person through all the changes that they will undergo in service of bringing out that soul's full expression. So it's the one who stands beside and will be there with you. And so those 4 qualities are super important to help guide a person, to help support a person, to advocate for the soul's greater expression.
Well, Nancy, for folks that are listening that may have not heard the beginning part of the show, this is important to understand for several reasons. One of the reasons might be that discomfort or depression or sadness or something other than joy, whatever that is, right? Something other than joy and love right now is going on in your life. And sometimes we believe that, wow, there's nothing I can really do about it. Or perhaps we believe, I've been at this place for so long, I don't know how to get out of it. Now, I'm not talking about the fact that people may be right now today mourning the loss of what we've been talking about here on the show now for several days. But I'm talking about this sense of despair. And people might ask the question, but that is the soul's purpose. I've never been convinced that the soul has declared for itself that me, you, and others are literally sentenced to a life of despair. I've never believed that. And yet there are people that do believe that. I would love to hear from you about that.
Wow. Yeah, that I have a different orientation.
Yeah.
I really believe, and I've had the experience also more than once, that at my core, in my very cells, is pure joy. And I believe my own experience and everything I've read says that life is all about the expansion of bliss at the center, at the very essence of life. It's all joyous ecstasy. I mean, the creation process is a joyous process of expansion of joy, expansion. And so I would say at the very essence of who we are, it's a delightful and a joyous and a beyond happy expression. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have all these ups and downs and, the full human experience. Humans are here to experience the full range of human emotional expression. Mm-hmm. But underneath all of that is just joy. And so the despair, to me, I don't resonate with that. To me, when I'm in despair, and a big part of suffering is to get us back to joy. It's like it's like a marker. It's like a signpost. Wow, I'm in suffering. Wow, I'm in despair. Then I'm off track. It's time for me to do whatever healing work, whatever guidance work to get me back to my soul's delight.
Yeah. And, I know that you work with people every day. You work with organizations, and the many, many things that I know you're involved with are in support and in the pathway of this. You also have a toolkit that is very, very deep. What are some of the tools that you've, used to help people, and shall I even say, make sense of where the disconnect is?
Oh, yeah. I've got a very big toolbox. It's one of my longtime things to get trainings in. And it's nice to have a huge toolbox because, as I said before the break, our own path is our own path. And having a large toolbox that I can pull from to help someone where they are in their own journey gives me a lot more ability to support them in their unique path. So, in my spiritual guidance program, we learned a ton of different creative processes on the different meditations, different movement exercises, different journaling processes, different Sufi practices, zikrs to help create a different state. All kinds of different. We even use children's stories. I have several children's books that I'll use to help create a metaphoric process of the soul's journey. I teach meditation. I give journaling assignments. I actually have several healing modalities. I'm a Reiki master. I'm trained as a deep emotional release body worker. I have, I'm do neuro-linguistic programming, mindset shifting. I mean, I have many, many different tools that cover a lot of different modalities, as well as some more structured. I used to teach 7 Habits of Highly Effective People years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of those tools I still use with my clients today that are very pragmatic tools,
Yeah, because I think this is something we're going to talk about when we come back as well, is that there is a sense that people have whenever we talk about soul purpose advocate, we don't quite know what to expect. And we have this idea, I can't remember which one of my friends said something to me not too long ago. Oh, they're like, girl, you're like the queen of woo-woo. And I'm thinking, I'm actually a pretty practical person. I mean, I can go to the woo-woo and I love that, but I like the wow-wow. So I like to incorporate a number of different things. When we come back, I'd love for you to share, what do we expect? What can happen when working with you, Nancy, when working with a soul purpose advocate? Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
It's time to awaken.
Get into it for 2016. Do you want more prosperity, clarity, energy, and balance in your life? Join Lynn Brown now through March for one of her amazing workshops, each focusing on a key part of living your best life. For more information and to register for one of these amazing workshops, visit lynnbrownevent.com. That's lynnbrownevent.com. And get into it this 2016 with Lynn Brown.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready to tap into the healer within? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the real doctor is the source that lives within you, that heals within you minute by minute every day? The healer within is the innate intelligence of the human body. When we cut our hand with a piece of glass, we don't have to command the body to close the wound and grow new skin. It knows how to heal itself. We do have to nourish the skin by disinfecting it and remove the glass, or it cannot heal. The innate healer relies upon us to assist in this healing process. Our role is to identify its needs, provide the substances required for the healing, and remove the obstacle. Contact us to achieve optimal health at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's so great to have you tuning us in, turning us on. The world we live in is so full of sound waves. Who knows? Welcome to our world, everyone. And thank you for tuning us in and turning us on. It's so great to have all of you here. It's so great to have Nancy joining us on the show today. I know we're going to talk about, what we can expect. And I want to just say before we get there, everydayspirituality.com is where you can find out more information about Nancy. You can email her at info@everydayspirituality.com. Also, if you want to receive a complimentary consultation from Nancy, you can go to everydayspirituality.com/apply, and then the same place /my gift to you. There's lots going on here. Nancy, I think that, when we start to get to this place and all is said and done, we want to know, how will I change? What can I expect from this work? Where do we go from here? And how do I know I've arrived?
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, right.
But the truth is, if we're still in a body, we're still got, we're still carrying some karma, right? It's like we haven't really arrived, because there really is no place to go, right? I mean, it's not about destination, it's about the journey. But what I have found, and this is from working with clients and also my own journey, is there are arcs of transition. There's an arc of transition, and we go through those phases that I talked about, and we come to some new awareness, some new expression, some new state that's an expanded, more glorious, more fulfilling, more meaningful, and meaning is a big part of the soul. Like Jean Shinoda Bolen, who wrote, Goddesses in Every Woman and Goddesses in Older Women and, Crones Don't Whine. I mean, she's written a lot about the midlife passage. She talks about, it's the soul is searching for meaning. And when we get to a place where we want meaning in our life, that is a place where we know the soul is asking us to individuate. And so it is a phase, it's journey after journey of these arcs of greater and greater expression. I had a healing friend talk to me the other day, and she said, you can't live your soul's full potential in a lifetime. It's impossible. It's infinite. So let it go. But you can have, what you can have is greater and greater expressions of your soul's potential. So my job and what a person can expect working with me is to really be held in this space of, that I talked about with the different archetypes, to be held in a space of understanding, clarity, compassion, acceptance, because most of the time in my experience, my own personal experience and the experiences of my clients, both in the corporate world and in my private practice, we are our own worst enemy. We don't accept ourselves. We don't really appreciate the gifts that we have. We don't really allow ourselves to fully express all that's inside of us. And my job is to accept and acknowledge and cultivate and coax that deeper brilliance out of a person. And so what I found working with my clients is that we can get them to a place of more confidence in who they are, trusting their own inner guidance system more consistently, and the beginnings, the budding of new expression of their life. And then they're more or less ready to like go the next phase of expression on their own. And then sometimes they'll come back and say, okay, I need I'm in another growth spurt. So they need that kind of support again. So it just, it is, I see it as cyclical, sort of spiraling upward and expanding.
I love that image. I love that image of spiraling upward and expanding. And, to understand the magnitude of that in so many ways. I love that we're talking about this today. I think many of us get caught up in what other people think about us, what they want us to say, what they want us to do, how to be vulnerable. Oh, Pat, don't cry on radio. Of course, I never listened to that. So we have to, come to a place where we say, I really need help. I would love Nancy to work with me and work in a way that helps me not just get through the process, but speed up the process, because getting stuck is not a comfortable place. Thank you for today. I would love for you to talk a little bit about the personal message around this, about your vision as a soul purpose advocate and what you're really called to do for folks.
Thanks, Pat. So my purpose, what I've known since I was a little girl, and I can't even remember when I heard this inside, is that I want to end suffering. It hurts my heart so much to see people not appreciating themselves, not accepting and celebrating who they truly are. To me, self-love is the gift that we can give the entire world. And we can't love another, we can't accept another until we love and accept ourselves. And that's where the inner suffering can really hold us back and keep us prisoner to our own limiting beliefs of who we can be and what's acceptable. And that's what I want to help people with, to really break through that and live the beautiful, incredibly bright and unique soul that they are.
Wow. Again, thank you so much. And Nancy, if you would, again, best way to find out more about you, how we can work with you, and get that consultation.
Yeah, my website, everydayspirituality.com, has a lot of resources, and you can apply for everydayspirituality.com/apply to get a consultation with me, or get the guide that helps you understand these 4 alchemical phases that happen in any part of our life, but more profoundly in midlife. And that's, again, everydayspirituality.com/my gift to you.
Awesome. Nancy, thank you so much. What a great show. Thank you for all that you do. I so appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Pat. I appreciate being on the show.
We're going to say to all of you, there's more coming up on Transformation Talk Radio. And for those of you that missed any part of the show today, please know that this will play tonight. And we've got so much coming your way. It's actually surreal for me when I think about it. But, all I got to do is call Nancy, and she tells me exactly about the human design, what my human design is, and helps me make sense of it all. And maybe it's not in my soul's bailiwick, Nancy, to actually make sense of things, right?
Quite possible.
Quite possibly. Thank you all for tuning us in. Alea Dow, thank you. Thank you for giving us permission to play that beautiful song. We're going to be playing it all week long. We'll see you next time.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against put me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head and a trouble.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.